Hello everyone, the topic for now is factors that affect consumption and saving. In previous lecture we discussed about consumption function, and equation of consumption is equal to C naught plus Cy. C naught shows autonomous consumption which does not depend upon income, and Cy is induced consumption which is dependent upon income. So I'm going to discuss all those factors which cause this part to change and this part to change. So autonomous consumption is caused by many factors, but induced consumption is caused by only one factor, that is income. Here Y is used for income, and if there is any kind of change in income, then this part will change, and all other factors I will be discussing will affect autonomous consumption, that is C naught. And if I write a specific function, that is, let's say C is equal to 100 plus 0.2y, then this shows that autonomous consumption is 100. It means this consumption is dependent upon something else apart from income, and this consumption is dependent upon income. It means that whatever income we earn, we will spend 20% or 0.2 out of each additional dollar earned. So 0.2 is also 20%. And we call this 0.2 or 20% as marginal propensity to consume. It means we can determine that marginal propensity to consume of the poor class is always high, MPC of poor is high, and MPC of the rich class is low. It means poor class has to spend maximum proportion of their income earned, because most of their income is spent on basic necessities of life. Total income is very low. It means maximum part of their income will be spent. On the other hand, rich class has very high income and their marginal propensity to consume is relatively low. Whenever there is change in autonomous or induced consumption, there will be multiple changes in consumption function or consumption curve, and I'm going to discuss and explain to you what kind of shifts are expected whenever there is change in autonomous or induced consumption. And afterwards I will be definitely moving to the factors that affect them, and these are the factors which I have already written here, and they include disposable income, health, interest rate, income distribution, future expectation, and wealth. So these are really simple factors that can be easily explained by you, all of you. And the first one is disposable income. As you know, disposable income is the income after payment of direct taxes, that is income tax. Whenever disposable income increases, consumers are in the position to spend more, and when disposable income falls, definitely their purchasing power will fall and they will spend less. And health issues again also causes consumption to change. For example, if there are health concerns of the society, of individuals, then they will spend more on their health. But if they are leading healthy life, then it means their health concerns will be low and they will be spending very lesser amount on health care. So consumption will fall. Interest rate is another factor, and interest rate determines how much extra money you have to pay if you get loan from financial institution, or how much you will receive if you save money in your bank account. If interest rate is high, then people save more money into their bank account, and if interest rate is low, they save less and they spend more. So high interest rate leads to low consumption, and low interest rate leads to high consumption. And then as income distribution, if income distribution is more even or more equal and it reduces disparities, then definitely consumption will rise, because when we distribute income equally between the rich and poor, then poor class will get more income, and since poor class has greater marginal propensity to consume, so consumption in the economy will overall rise. And now coming to future expectations. Future expectations mean expectations about the future income. If you are expecting that you will be able to get greater income in future, then definitely you will be spending more, because you know that you are earning frequently, and if you spend it, it's not a big deal. You will get money once again and you will be able to spend it again. So future, if you are expecting that your flow of income will continue in future, then you will spend more, and if you expect vice versa, then result will also be the vice versa. Wealth is another factor that affects consumption, and wealth is basically accumulated assets and financial value which person has. And if you have more wealth, more property, then definitely your confidence to spend will rise and you will spend more. On the other hand, if your wealth is low, if you don't have a lot of wealth, accumulated wealth, then definitely your confidence to spend will be low and you will spend less. So higher wealth leads to greater consumption and lower wealth leads to lower consumption. At the end of this lecture, I will be showing you how different changes in consumption function can take place because of these factors. And I suggest, if you are interested to know about these shifts, then watch this video till end. And now I'm going to explain you the factors that affect saving. Saving is that part of income which is left after spending. In two-sector economy, income is equal to consumption plus saving. So saving will be equal to income minus consumption. Here Y is income, C is consumption, S is saving. So if we consume some money and we deduct that consumption from income, then whatever is left is called saving. And saving again depends upon multiple factors. These are similar factors which we have already discussed. If income increases, definitely saving will rise because people will have more potential to save more money. On the other hand, income distribution, if more equal distribution of income takes place, then consumption will rise because the people, poor class, have greater marginal propensity to consume, so they will spend more, and when spending increases, saving will definitely fall. Interest rate has positive relationship with saving. If interest rate increases, saving will rise because people think that it's worthwhile saving money into bank account because bank is offering very good interest rate. On the other hand, if interest rate is low, people will save less, rather they will spend more. Future expectations about income is again very important factor. If you are expecting that your flow of income will continue in future, then definitely you will save less because you know that you need not to save money, you will be earning money frequently. And if you are expecting that your flow of income will decrease and you are expecting fall in income in future, then you will try to save more. For example, in case of Corona days, you can see that many people lost their jobs and they were expecting no income in future, so they stopped consumption and they tried to save more money. So future expectations are definitely important factor that affects saving of an individual. Future targets is again important factor. If you have any kind of target, for example, if you want to buy BMW car in a few coming years, then you will try to save more money in your bank account so that you can meet this target. But if you don't have any kind of such targets, then definitely you will spend more and save less. Personal habits is another factor. It is social factor, not very much economic factor, but it shows the social attitude of an individual. For example, if someone has habit to save more money, he is more inclined to save, then he will definitely save more. But on the other hand, some people have more inclination towards consumption. Whatever they earn, they try to spend all of their income and they don't have the habit to save money. So now if we suppose that initial consumption function is 100 plus 0.2y, and now there is change in autonomous and induced consumption, then what will be the change in line? For example, if we increase only autonomous consumption keeping induced consumption constant, for example, we have this consumption function c is equal to 100 plus 0.2y, and now there is rise in autonomous consumption, then graph will move upward from 100 to 150. And now we suppose that there is decrease in induced consumption from 0.2y to 0.1y, then graph will look like this. So new consumption function will be this. On the other hand, if there is decrease in autonomous consumption from 100 to 50, but there is increase in induced consumption from 0.2 to 0.3, then graph will look like this. So these are some sample shifts in consumption function. There can be many other shifts as well. So what you have to keep in mind is you have to check whether autonomous consumption is changing or induced consumption is changing. If autonomous consumption changes, then complete curve will shift upward or downward. If autonomous consumption increases, it will move upward. If autonomous consumption falls, it moves downward. If there is change in induced consumption, there will be change in only slope and not the intercept. We call this basically intercept. The amount which we are spending at zero income is intercept here. Intercept is 50 and here it is 100 and 150. So there are multiple intercepts. If there is change in autonomous consumption, then intercept will change, and if there is change in induced consumption, then slope of the curve will change and intercept will remain the same if there is no change in autonomous consumption. So this is it for today, and see you in the next class, inshallah.